In the land of the midnight sun, where oceans rage and winters bite deep, chaos was not just a threat, it was a constant companion. And yet, in this brutal crucible of survival, order was forged not through iron, but through law. Join me as I dive into the wild world of Viking chaos and attempt to control it using ancient laws, codes carved in memory, upheld by steel, and passed down through the thing, the heart of Viking justice. The Viking Age, a time often imagined as lawless mayhem, of blood-drenched raids and untamed warriors. But this image is only half the truth. Behind every swing of an axe was a code. Behind every clash of clans, a structure. What many mistake for chaos was actually order in a different language. To understand Viking law, we must first let go of the myth that these Norsemen were mere savages. They were raiders, yes, but also builders, traders, poets, and lawmakers. Their society could not have endured centuries of hardship without one thing: lagu, law. Viking law wasn't codified on scrolls. It lived in the spoken word, passed down by law speakers like the wise Thorstein, the lawman of Iceland, who held the entire legal code in memory. These laws governed everything: theft, property, violence, honor, even revenge. For stealing, a fine. For dishonor, restitution. For murder, it could mean blood for blood, or vergild, a man price paid to the victim's kin. Every action had consequence. Every crime, a price. There were laws about insults too. Words in Viking society held weight. A slur or accusation could spark a duel or ignite a blood feud. But the law provided a means to resolve these fiery tempers with cold logic. At the heart of Viking law was the Thing, an ancient assembly of free men where disputes were aired, alliances made, and justice rendered. No kings commanded the Thing. It was democracy before democracy had a name. The Thing was sacred. It was where the chieftains of old, like Snorri Goði or Thorgeir the priest, rose not with swords, but with words. Here, men did not simply seek justice, they shaped it. In the Lögbögg, or law rock, law speakers would recite the laws aloud so no one could claim ignorance. Every free man had a voice. Every voice carried weight. The Thing was not just a court, it was a living, breathing parliament. One tale echoes through the sagas like a warning bell. Egil Skallagrimsson, warrior, poet, outlaw. He killed with ease and wrote with fire. But when he crossed paths with King Eirik Bloodaxe, a storm brewed not just of battle, but of legality. According to Viking law, Egil was entitled to revenge for his slain brother, but to spill royal blood was dangerous. Instead, Egil invoked law, demanding compensation, appealing to tradition, standing his ground not with blade, but with the law itself. He lived, not because he fought, but because he argued. The law, in the end, spared his life. Laws were not just a tool of justice, but a weapon against collapse. In an honor-driven society, unchecked vengeance could spiral into endless blood feuds. The law became a boundary, a dam holding back the flood of wrath. Even outlawry had structure. A man declared Skogamada was exiled beyond the bounds of society. He could be killed without repercussion. But it wasn't chaos, it was protocol. The punishment matched the crime. But justice wasn't cold. It breathed. It bled. It flexed with the needs of the clan, the whispers of the gods, and the weight of legacy. These weren't mere warlords. They were custodians of law. Harald Fairhair may have united Norway by the sword, but he held it by law. Jarl Hakon, a devout pagan, governed with a blend of ritual and rule. The laws even touched the sacred. Blasphemy against the gods could be punished. Sacrifices had to be properly conducted. Harmony between man, law, and deity was essential for survival. Even across the seas, Viking colonies in Greenland and Iceland survived not just through strength, but through consensus. It was law that allowed them to govern themselves, to thrive in the face of elemental cruelty. Iceland's Old Thing, born of Viking roots, still endures. It is the oldest surviving national parliament in the world. Viking law did not vanish. It evolved. In a world teetering between order and disorder, perhaps the Vikings have something left to teach us. That law is not merely a tool of civilization. It is civilization. In fire and frost, in blood and word, they carved a legacy not of conquest alone, but of justice. They taught us that even in the harshest conditions, fairness can be forged, that even in the darkest chaos, order can rise. So the next time you hear the name Viking, don't just think of the axe, think of the oath. Which Viking law fascinates you the most? Share your thoughts below. And if you're hungry for more tales from the edge of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us on our next expedition.